The Newark Minutemen were this unlikely band of Jewish boxers from New Jersey who were actually recruited by the Jewish mafia and FBI working together to stop what was our rising German American Nazi party. And there was actually we had an American Hitler. His name was Fuhrer Fritz Kuhn, who had thousands of cells across the United States and even 25 Nazi youth camps. And it takes place, as you said, before the war, during the Depression. And the story is sort of a Titanic type story where there's these star-crossed lovers mapped over this backdrop. Jewish boxer falls in love with the daughter of the leader of the German American Bund. And he goes undercover into the Bund. She goes off to the Nazi youth camp. And lots of conflict, and it remains to be seen whether they end up or not together.
Yeah, well, I know that I cannot wait to read this. Now, you have a unique connection to the story. Your uncle was one of these boxers. Tell me his story and how you learned of it.
He was. So we grew up all our lives. My mom, who's 95, Esther Kaplan, who is still going strong today. It was her older brother, Harry. And we'd heard this story of he was a Golden Glove champion all our lives. But then it wasn't until her 90th birthday that all the cousins and her started talking about that he was this Newark Minuteman that used to go out and fight Nazis. And we were like, well, you mean Nazis over in Europe? And they were like, no, right here in America. And we started learning, our family started learning about it. And I sort of became possessed with the story and researched and uncovered thousands of pages of FBI documents.
Wow.
And archives in the Hoover Institute.
So how prevalent was the American Nazi Party in the 1930s and 40s? Not many of us have heard of this.
No, it was more prevalent than anyone wanted to admit. There was this, as I said, American, self-proclaimed American Hitler, and it was across the United States. The numbers range anywhere from 25,000 to 200,000
Wow.
to 1 million, because there were several fascist parties that were trying to combine together.
Interesting. Now, how successful were the Newark Minutemen, the FBI, and the Jewish mob in defeating this party?
They would go out and sort of thwart these protests that were going on by the German American Bund, and they would go undercover. And it led up to, you showed the scene before of this night at Madison Square Garden, which was a gathering of over 200,000 people that finally made America aware that this party was real. And 6 months later is when Hitler invaded Poland. And then they actually finally got Fritz Kuhn on fraud charges. We got him through the IRS rather than the FBI, but all through the help of these young men.
And it's pretty scary to think what still exists of this group, right? You know, Nazi hunter stories make for great movies. We've seen so many of them turn from the pages of the history books to the big screen, and that's in the works for your story, right? What is going to happen here?
Well, we have our production company is Fulwell 73. They're out of Britain. They're out of London, and their fifth partner. There's four Jewish guys, Orthodox Jews, and the fifth partner is James Corden, who's has the Late Late Show. We're in development. We've got our screenwriters. We're talking to talent now, and if COVID would just calm down, we could get this thing moving.